in the post-race Zoom. I don't know if you heard it, but it's kind of funny. Joey Logano makes it to the championship 4 every even number year. This is 2020, last made it in 2018, won that championship. I'm getting real 2018 vibes from him. A guy that is kind of in a season that the main storylines are two other guys, or back in 2018 it was the big three. Now it's Harvick and Hamlin. And he is the first guy to punch his ticket in. And something interesting you mentioned Paul Wolfe being a new crew chief on that team. I think they struggled a fair amount at the beginning of the pandemic because they weren't able to work through practice and get some of those new driver-crew chief relationship kinks out of the way. And you could tell that it cost them some time. Now that I think that they have their groove going, this could be, like you mentioned, something really bad for the competition because just like 2018, they have 2 weeks extra time to prepare for that championship race versus the other 3 drivers, or you could really say 7 drivers racing their way in. They're going to have less time to prepare for that Phoenix car. And he mentioned, these next 2 races, we're going to give them our all. We're going to focus on them just like we prepare for any other race. But from here on out, it's all about that Phoenix car and that Phoenix weekend. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think he's got just as good of a shot as anybody else in this championship 4 or these final 8 drivers to win that championship. I mean, heck, he won the last race that we were at Phoenix Raceway. So, I mean, if that doesn't say anything about Joey Logano's potential to win this championship, I don't know what does.
I was just going to say, we haven't even talked about the fact that the last time the Cup Series was at Phoenix, pre-pandemic, he won the race.
Yeah.
And look, we think of Phoenix and we think of Kevin Harvick and his playground. He's the Cactus King, right? Not really since the repave.
Yeah.
Since the repave, it's been a Joe Gibbs racing powerhouse. Plus, Logano won the last race. Harvick's been really good there, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't been dominant there, winning back-to-back races and contending for wins every single time you go there. And I think part of me, and let me know how you feel too, Andrew, but like part of me throughout the season has thought, well, it's Harvick and Hamlin every single week. So when they inevitably get to Phoenix, they're going to be the favorites, right? They have to be. Part of me has thought that. And then as I've been going through the last couple of days after Logano's won, and people are saying, oh, well, is he the favorite? Because now he has time to prepare and he won the last race at Phoenix. I'm thinking like, why did I think that they were automatically going to be the favorites when we've seen in the past few years that drivers have been unbelievable in the regular season, unbelievable in the playoffs, but once you get to the finale, which has been Homestead, it's cliche, but it literally is anybody's game. Like, I go back to 2014, Ryan Newman almost won the championship.
Imagine that.
You know, like Kevin Harvick was stout that year. So was Denny Hamlin. But Ryan Newman, I mean, seriously, if he had 10 more laps in that race, the 31 car may have caught the 4 car, Kevin Harvick, and won the championship. It's crazy to think about. So looking at Joey now, you have one of the most aggressive drivers in Logano. You have one of the most aggressive strategic crew chiefs in Paul Wolfe. You give them each 2 weeks to mentally prepare for the championship finale at Phoenix. Plus, you have Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick, who are not guaranteed locks anymore because Logano winning makes the playoff cut line all that more jumbled. It's making for a lot of interesting storylines with 2 weeks to go before the season finale. I think putting them as a championship co-favorite alongside Hamlin and Harvick, that's definitely warranted.
Well, we got bitten in the butt with the big 3. It was literally the storyline all year long, 2018. And then here comes Logano, and he goes and wins that championship. I think, and we kind of brushed on it last week on how, man, we're really getting down to it, the crunch time. You know how big momentum is in this sport. I really think now these final 4 races, 5 races you could call them, are really the most important to watch because you have to see who is hot right now. It is all about momentum. I mean, you look at Kyle Busch. I counted him out at the beginning of last year's playoffs because he was not running well, he was not competing for wins, and then he turned it on when he needed to, and he won that championship. So when we're talking about momentum, Joey Logano and their team, man, they've got the momentum. So I'm going to be interested to see, I mean, if we get 2 more winners, like you mentioned right before we hit record, there's a possibility that Harvick and Hamlin, one of them doesn't make it.
Yeah. It's very possible now, especially, I mean, if you're Denny Hamlin, you are rooting for Kevin Harvick to win the race at Texas if you can. And if you're Kevin Harvick, you are rooting for Denny Hamlin to win the race at Texas if you can. Because if you're Bowman, Elliott, Truex, Kurt Busch, who's over 60 points back, you have to win the race. You have to win a race to get to the final. That's pretty much what it's going to take. And if that were to happen, that most likely means that Harvick or Hamlin, one of them is maybe not going to make it to the finale. And the fact that that may be even a possibility at this point is crazy to me, but that's what you get with this championship format. Just like we talked about earlier, with this package, you play the cards that you're dealt. Logano played them perfectly. With this championship format, you play the cards that you're dealt. Nobody was expecting Logano to win in 2018. Nobody was expecting Ryan Newman to even get there in 2014. Maybe nobody expects Logano to beat Hamlin and Harvick this year, but now he's there. Everybody else, you're not guaranteed to be there. Since he has that ticket punch, he has the upper hand right now.